ladies and gentlemen, Universal Mastery. Welcome back to my public YouTube channel, where I break down the occult sciences, and I break them down to a very practical degree, so that you can simply use them and apply them in your day-to-day life, and get real, actual results with exactly what it is that I'm teaching. Okay, simply, most importantly, by applying your observation and awareness. Very practical to do. Okay, let me also give a little bit of a perspective on who I am, just for the people who are new to my channel. My name is Jeremiah Schwartz. I am a professional occultist. I am fully initiated in the entirety of the Kabbalistic tree. I'm studied when it comes to the 22 major arcana of the tarot deck, and I'm also studied when it comes to planets in direct association with astrology. Okay, so without further ado, what exactly are we going to be talking about in our today's video? Okay, we are going to be talking about Andrew Tate. Okay, now I know some of you listening may be like, what? Why are we talking about Andrew Tate? What does that have to do with anything in regards to the occult? Some of you may even be a little bit upset, not 100% sure. But then there's a large portion of you that are actually very interested in hearing me talk a little bit more about Andrew Tate, and that's exactly what I'm gonna be moving into, is what are we going to be discussing in regards to Andrew Tate. So I've had a lot of people that have asked me to make a video, people that are subscribers, followers from social media platforms, Patreon, all that kind of stuff, that have asked me to make a video on Andrew Tate, basically discussing my perception on this individual from a spiritual lens, okay? And I 100% have my own understanding of what I see Andrew Tate is doing, and I think there actually is going to be a lot of value that a lot of you can receive as I break this down, okay? So if this is something that you're interested in, and you want to hear a little bit more so of a spiritual understanding of Andrew Tate coming from somebody like myself, then this is definitely your video. So you have one thing to do, and that is to stay tuned. Okay, so let's go into it. So, Andrew Tate, okay? Let's start here. Obviously, there may be a lot of you watching that are not too pleased with Andrew Tate, okay? Then there may be another portion of you watching that think he has a good head on his shoulders and think he talks about very important subjects in regards to daily life and the matrix and government and things of that nature. And I would completely understand that, depending on what side you're on in this sense. My personal perspective with Andrew Tate is that, once again, on a personal level, I think he's doing a lot of things right, okay? And when I say that, I'm not just talking about on a mundane level, I'm also talking about on a spiritual and a soul level for himself, okay? I think he's making a lot of good choices, and I think he's making a lot of right decisions. But at the end of the day, obviously, he's a human being. I'm a human being. You're a human being. We all make mistakes, okay? No one's perfect. So there are obviously things that he says, things that he does, that I personally don't 100% agree with, and that I wouldn't say myself. But then at the same token, there are a lot of things he says and a lot of things he does that I am 100% on board with, and I resonate on a deep level with. And I actually understand a lot of where he's coming from a spiritual perspective. So that's mainly what I'm going to be covering within this video. So, when it comes to Andrew Tate, there is a part of him that is sort of like, let's put it this way, he is a black magician. He's what I like to call a subconscious, unconscious black magician. He is somebody who is clearly, and if any of you study for my channel and you watch through the content that I release and you're paying attention, you're taking notes, you should actually be able to tell this, that Andrew Tate is clearly a negatively polarized individual. With all the different associations that fall along the lines of what it means to be negatively polarized, when you look at Andrew Tate, he is a spitting image of someone who is negatively polarizing. Remember, negative polarity is service to self over everything else. It is teaching others how to serve themselves, to be the most powerful being in their reality, to become the source yourself. That's how you view your reality from the negative polarity. You see yourself as the source. It's to be ruthless, to also apply duality, even though there is a deep awareness for individuals that have a high level of wisdom, that everything is connected, everything is a part of the source, it's a part of the one. Still, on the negative polarity, we apply the principle of duality consciously, and we separate the weak from the strong, and we also act as a catalyst to the species on the planet, and that is actually one of our evolutionary values. Okay, so we become the adversary, we challenge, we test, sometimes we even tempt, we destroy, we break down, with the intent, deep down, of helping to improve, helping to grow. So we break things and people down so that they can learn that that was something within themselves that was weak and then can be strengthened or improved. This is the essence of the negative polarity. And clearly when you look at Andrew Tate, he is the emanation of the negative polarity. So as a professional occultist who understands these spiritual things a lot more than the average person, I can see Andrew Tate and I can see the types of behavior that he has, the mindset he has, the actions that he takes, and I can see that what he's doing is serving his soul's polarity. So as a negatively polarized being that he is, all of those crazy, outlandish perspectives and mindsets that people try to throw on him, and all these names and titles that people try to give him, I understand, you may not like it. You may have your own opinion or perspective on the matter, but when it comes down to it, a lot of what he's doing is actually serving his soul's polarity. That's literally why when you look at his life from a more so objective standpoint, he has a lot of success in that sense. On a material level and on a physical level, he has a lot of success. And I mean, clearly on an energetic level, the fact that I'm here even making a video discussing who he is. Okay, he's had an influence, he's had an effect on the mass collective itself. Okay, so basically what I'm saying is he is doing a lot of things right on a soul level. This is what I'm really trying to communicate. Okay, so I respect it. There's a lot of things that I see in him that I completely respect. Once again, as I said, there's a lot of things that I resonate with. Now, there's also things that I don't agree with, and there are some weak points that me being the person that I am could see in him potentially. Okay, now, once again, as I'm saying this, I'm not saying this as somebody who is, perfect, somebody who is a perfect person and makes all the right choices at all the right times and never makes mistakes. Obviously, I have weak points as well that I am focused on and I am improving myself, just like every single one of you watching. That is literally the nature of the human being. We all have areas of ourself that are weaker than others. So when I look at Andrew Tate, I can clearly see what some of his weak points are. And one of them is the fact that he has a little bit of a lack of understanding of the feminine energy. Okay, now a lot of you probably can see that, but some of you may not fully understand that. So once again, taking it back to what I said, Andrew Tate is clearly somebody who is subconscious and unconscious in regards to his soul's polarity. He doesn't understand he's actually behaving and taking actions that are very similar to what a black magician does. Okay, this is subconscious and unconscious to him. It's just a part of his programming. It's a part of his mentality. Okay, now because this is unconscious to him, he's unaware that the essence of the negative polarity is actually within the dark feminine. It's within that feminine polarity. That's why the left-hand path on the Kabbalistic tree is associated with the left pillar, which is the black pillar, which is the female side of the tree, the feminine. So basically what I'm saying is Andrew Tate clearly has a unawareness of the importance of the feminine energy. And I'm not saying in the world around him. I'm not just saying like, oh, he needs to treat women better. That's not inherently what I'm saying. I'm saying primarily within himself. So clearly when you look at an individual like Andrew Tate, he's a very masculine person. He has an essence and a vibe to him that you could say maybe a little bit forceful, a little bit pushy even, okay? And once again, I'm not here to say that's wrong or that's bad, but if I was to give him an honest critique, if he was somebody that I was trying to give helpful information to, I would let him know that he can tap into a different energy within himself that could actually increase his power and make it so that he doesn't have to force things to happen and truly make his life a little bit more effortless. Okay, so once again, the thing that I would see in regards to Andrew Tate and what he lacks is his own awareness of the importance of the feminine energy within himself. And obviously there are reasons for that. I mean, these reasons can go deep. It can go to past traumas, how you're raised. It goes very deep. I'm not here to cover that. But that is what I see. And one of the manifestations, obviously, of this lack of embracing that feminine energy within, specifically the dark feminine, because he's obviously negatively polarizing, you can see through the principle of as within, as without, the world itself is attacking him. Okay, now obviously I'm aware there's a lot of people that really agree with what he says and root him on and are on his side, so to speak. But if you look at the mass collective, there's more so of an essence of attack. I mean, obviously he was recently canceled from social media platforms. That's a form of attack. It's not necessarily that is a bad or a good thing, but this is a lesson for him. This is something that he can learn. And once again, what I was saying is that the fact that he's getting attacked primarily under the essence of the feminine energy. So the reason why he's getting attacked is because people are saying he's a misogynist. He doesn't treat women properly. He does all these horrible things to women, and he's a bad person when it comes to women. You can see the essence of the feminine energy is what is actually being the adversary towards him. And through the principle of as within, as without, the reason why he's getting attacked from the external by the feminine energy is because he's lacking the feminine energy on the internal. Okay, this is very nuanced, and there are a lot of you, I'm sure, that actually understand this nuance, but there may be a lot of you listening that are also allowing this to go right over your head, because it truly does take a certain type of person to understand what it is that I'm talking about right now. Okay, but this is the case. So if Andrew Tate really wanted to step into his highest potential, which, you know, at some point in time, he very well may step into this awareness, and to make that switch from being an unconscious, subconscious black magician or negatively polarized entity to then being a conscious, negatively polarized entity, he would have to make that switch in regards to embracing that dark feminine within himself. He's going to have to practice more with being receptive, listening to understand rather than speaking to be heard. He's going to have to be more receptive to his unconscious and his subconscious. He's going to have to be more receptive to the unknown in general, not have so many preconceptions or so many assumptions based on patterns that you see in the matrix. Okay? He would have to start embracing the ability to let go more. Let go of the need and the want to control. And this takes a whole nother level of strength and power to really do this, especially as a man. Because biologically as men, we are oriented just on our nature to be more forceful, to be more masculine in nature. Okay, so it takes a lot of energy, time, effort, and discipline to embrace that feminine aspect of the self. And when I say feminine, I mean the real feminine energy. I'm not talking about, you know, mainstream feminine energy where people like to associate within the mainstream feminine energy with being passive and being weak and being somebody who just kind of sits around and expects things to come to them. And once again, that's mainstream programming. And truly, based on the matrix we live in, there is a real deep intention as to why they are programming the feminine energy to look weak and to look like something you don't really want to embrace. It's really a paradox. It is a paradox. That's how intense this programming gets when it comes to our matrix. So yeah, the point that I'm trying to make is the real feminine energy has to do with these qualities that I was talking about. And then also really important, which is very hard for a lot of people, is to feel their emotions, feeling, because the emotions are the energies in motion within yourself and around you. And the more that you feel them, the more you process them. The more you process them, the more you become an observer. And obviously, once you start to become the observer, you start to become the master of your reality because you understand what is happening, okay? Which puts you in a position of power. So if Andrew Tate really wanted to step into his highest potential and actually make things a lot more effortless for him, because there is that principle to the feminine energy. When you actually tap into it, your life gets a lot more effortless than having to be like a fish that is swimming upstream and having to force things that aren't even meant to happen or aren't even supposed to happen. Remember, the masculine, the positive, is more radiant in nature. It sends out, it pushes outwards. The feminine is more magnetic in nature. It sucks in, it pulls in, it magnetizes. So specifically because he's on the negative polarity, and I can see exactly, I mean, it's very clear that he is on the negative polarity, but it's also very clear that he's not aware of what his soul is doing. And it's clear that he's not fully aware of how he can, let's say, squeeze the most juice out of the lemon, to give you like an analogy, okay? So if he was aware of real black magic and he was conscious of allowing himself to dabble into that and to understand it, he would start being faced with the reality that the path that he's actually on in regards to what his soul is doing is based on the feminine energy, specifically that dark feminine energy, that magnetizing force. Okay, but once again, based on my observation, this is just my observation, in his life, it seems that he is dealing with, right now, I should say this, right now it seems like his journey is trying to understand his soul and understand his spirit and understand what he's doing here, like what is his true purpose. Because obviously I've done some research on him, I've listened to some of his podcasts, I've listened to some of his videos, and he is clearly searching for a religion right now. I mean, he calls himself a Christian, which is funny. But in his past, he used to refer to himself as an atheist. So you can clearly see he's evolving on a spiritual and a soul level, but he's not by any means at his end point yet. That is my observation. So he's searching on a soul level. So you look at somebody who has so much wealth, so much, we could even say power, and says they're living a wonderful lifestyle and they have everything they want and everything's all good, but you can clearly see they are still looking for something on a deeper soul level. That's why he's now at the age that he's at, which I think is like 35. He's going to church now. He's trying to find God. He's trying to understand his soul. Okay, now he's not going to find the real answers pursuing the religious path that he's walking towards, but the path that he's walking towards right now is and can very well likely eventually open up other opportunities and other doorways that then he can find the answers that he's looking for. And once again, from my observation, clearly the answers that he's looking for are embedded within real black magic, occult practices, and sciences. Okay, now it takes a certain type of openness to step into the ability to start studying and practicing those types of practices based on religious programming. So who knows if Andrew Tate will ever click on to the idea of what his soul is actually doing and pursue it on a conscious spiritual level. I don't know. But, as of right now, he's doing it subconsciously and unconsciously, and he's doing a good job at it. Once again, I have nothing but respect for what he's doing. I have nothing but respect for who he is and what he is, because I can clearly see he's put in a lot of time, energy, discipline, effort, which is not easy by any means, to get to the position that he's at and to get to the influence that he's at and to even get to the power levels that he has. But once again, if he was to start embracing that dark feminine within himself, he would start to notice life actually becomes a lot more effortless. He wouldn't be dealing directly with cancel culture. This is one of the powers of the feminine energy. The feminine energy literally rules the entire world. It rules the physical plane. That's why when you look at the archetypal path that connects on the Kabbalistic tree from Malkuth into Yesod, that path that connects it is ruled by the world. Now, oftentimes, if you look at the archetype of the world, you're going to see it's ruled by a feminine energy. So, for example, on my tarot deck, the card is shown with the entity of Kali. Okay, it's a dark feminine energy. And that's to show you the essence that it is the dark feminine energy that literally rules the physical plane. Okay, and that concept goes very deep. So once again, he can break and beat cancel culture and switch the entire energetic paradigm once he starts embracing that dark feminine within himself. And truly what he's going through and why he's going through what he is to show him more about that dark feminine side within himself. Now, if he's going to fail this lesson, then that's going to manifest in a way where he's fighting against the feminine energy, where he's like, it's not fair. You're wrong. You're bad. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to keep being egotistical. I'm going to keep being rigid. That would be a sign of someone who is failing their initiation. And a lot of times people do fail their initiations because they are unconscious and subconscious of the journey itself and of the path. Okay? But once again, this is just my observation on what is taking place. And we are going to leave it there. So ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this content, definitely come down here and hit that thumbs up button. Just right down there, super easy. Also, make sure you come down here and you hit that notification bell, okay? Because you obviously want to get notified whenever I post my content, because this is very valuable information that you're not going to find anywhere else on YouTube, I promise. Now, also, if you're continuously consuming my content and you are not yet subscribed, then you are making a very, very, very big mistake. So come down here and hit that subscribe button and tune in. You're going to get more value from my content once you're linked in on that level, okay? Now, the next thing I want to say is that you have my full permission to copy and paste this link and send it out to anybody. Family, friends, social media platforms, you name it, you have my full permission. My intention is to spread this content like a wildfire and to increase my empire in the process, and that is exactly what I've been doing and what I will continue to be doing, okay? Now, the next thing I want to say is that if you take your awareness and you come right down there, this is where you can add me on Instagram. It's super easy to type in JER_477. Go ahead and check me out on social media platforms. Also, if you go into the YouTube description, you're going to see my TikTok account in there as well. So check me out on TikTok. And then if you would like to join a private Facebook community, this is also within the YouTube description. You'll find it. There's a link right below it. Follow where that link takes you, and you can request to join within a private Facebook community that has over 600 members within it. And there are people that are posting on an active and a daily basis. And there is very valuable information that is being posted within this group, if I may say so myself. Okay, so if you want to take advantage of it, you know what to do. Okay, now I'm going to literally take your awareness and I'm going to bring it to the most important link within the entirety of the YouTube description. Okay, it's the first link at the very top. You click that little arrow drop down. It's the first link. You will not miss it. Okay, this is where you can join my Patreon. Okay, on my Patreon, I have an entire vault of exclusive occult content. None of this content is on my public YouTube channel, and that is for many intentional reasons. It's not meant for the public. It's meant for people who are investing a little bit more time and energy into themselves and really wanting to reach that extra level of success. Okay? I have content that is very similar to videos like this. I have content that's in the form of live streams with question answer, and I have practical content which actually teaches you occult practices that are fundamental in nature. And all these different avenues of content are more advanced and more personal than what you're getting right here, right now. Okay? Then as you move into tier 3 and up, you're gaining access to an entire magic training course, which I feel like would be extremely valuable, especially if you're a beginner occultist and you're looking for a structured format to follow to start developing your psychic capabilities. Okay, that would be for tier 3 and up. Then as you move into tier 4, this is the top tier. This is not only the top tier, this is literally the most popular tier on the Patreon, which means most of the members on the Patreon are actually top tier members, okay? On the top tier, this is what I call the Universe.B Vampire Service, okay? So what I do with this service is on the 29th of every single month for everyone who is participating, people that are new and reoccurring members, they get a special ritual that is performed by myself on them, which is designed to transform their energetic bodies to be more so what I call Universe.B dominant, which essentially means it furthers their negative polarity, which is very valuable if that's the path that you're walking. Now, what this does is this gives these individuals an ability to exist within the darker energy areas within our multiverse without getting harmed by them, but rather developing knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and potential power from them instead. Okay? This also gives these individuals an ability to be more so receptive to their unconscious and subconscious mind, which is feminine in nature, you know, in correspondence to this video with what we were talking about. And then it gives them a psychic capability to pull in dark energy and chaos from the environment to then transmute into their own power and evolutionary potential, okay? If this is something that you feel intuitively drawn towards, then definitely take advantage of it. Top tier, tier 4, first link in the YouTube description. We'll leave it there, okay? With that being said, I want to give a special shout out to everyone specifically who is a Patreon member. I appreciate all of you, ladies and gentlemen, for taking your knowledge, your practices, and your studies truly to that other side. Okay, big shout out. Then, as you move into the second link in the YouTube description, you cannot miss it. This is where you can this is where you can book your own tarot card reading with me. Okay, this is going to be a very unique tarot card reading. This is going to be a tarot card reading that you've never received before. Okay, the reason is, once again, is because I'm a professional occultist. I understand the Kabbalistic tree way more than the average person. So what I can do is I can literally pinpoint exactly where you are on that Kabbalistic structure. I can tell you what you're feeling, experiencing, and going through in the present moment, and then tell you what to expect moving into your near and your long-term future based on your positioning all on that Kabbalistic tree, okay? I've done well over 650 readings. I do a reading literally every single day. I get tons of valuable feedback. If this is something that you want to take advantage of, which some people really gain a lot of value from, definitely do so. Second link below. We'll leave it there. Okay? Now, also, I want to say this. Within that same second link below with the tarot card readings, you can also book one-on-one calls with me if you want to have an hour-long one-on-one where you have, you know, a list of questions that you want to ask me, or if you would like to book a 6-week or a 3-month mentorship program. Okay? If you want to know a little bit more about those details, you're going to find all that information within that second link. Okay? Now, as we move into the third link, this is where you can become a YouTube member. Okay? As you become a YouTube member, you're gaining access to many different types of benefits. You enter into the YouTube community, which is always wonderful. You get special shout outs whenever I do live streams. You have an ability to leave a question every month when I do these live streams that appears in the same format as a super chat. But most importantly, you're gaining access to what I call the Psychic Warfare Emoji Program. So this is a sequence of emojis that I've created myself that are based on real occult principles, okay? And you can use them in a specific configuration. You can link in the name of a target and hit enter, and it will actually cause psychic effects on that target, okay? This is the most simple form of utilizing psychic warfare through the internet platform, and there are close to 2,000 posts where individuals have taken advantage of this program. There are even individuals right now in this moment who are doing so. And if this is something you want to tap into as well, you know what to do. Third link below, become a YouTube member, okay? With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate all of you very, very, very much. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day or night, wherever you are. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.